Hi, good afternoon. Am I audible?
You can share your screen. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, super. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in. My name is Ishna Arora, and I'm the Senior Sales and Marketing Manager for Le Cordon Bleu. Just to give you all an update on what Le Cordon Bleu really is, it is one of the world's oldest culinary and hospitality institutes in the world. So it's going to be a bit of a different presentation today, because this is a school that's meant for anyone who is aspiring to become either a chef or a hospitality professional. Now, quickly diving into what Le Cordon Bleu is and what our heritage is like I mentioned, we're one of the oldest schools in the world when it comes to the culinary arts. We started as a small school in Paris in 1895. And since then, over the last almost 130 years, um, we have a presence in 20 countries, 18 university partnerships, students from across 100 plus nationalities that come to study with us across the world. um, 20 countries is a lot of countries to be sharing information about. So today's presentation has been distilled down to only focus on three important countries that we'd like for you all to focus on in terms of recruitment. Um, Obviously, if you have any students who are interested in any of the countries that we are not touching base on today, please feel free to reach out to Study Metro, and I'm sure they'll be happy to connect with us and we can provide the relevant information. But just to make sure we're getting the right points across, we are focusing on three countries today. Before we dive further, let's talk about what Le Cordon Bleu's unique selling proposition is. Like I mentioned, we're one of the oldest schools in the world. We were founded in Paris, and we are a French culinary institute. Now, how does this make a difference? The reason this is important is because anyone who wants to be a chef or a hospitality professional has probably already done their research, and when they come to you for counseling, they might have already heard of a Le Cordon Bleu. The reason for this is because we've been so established in the industry that anyone from this industry is aware of who we are. Just to give you a small example, if any of y'all are watching MasterChef India, all of the judges that you see, all of the guest judges that have been coming here, last year, Chef Garima Arora, who is a two-star Michelin Award winner, is a Le Cordon Bleu Paris alumni. This year, we have Pooja Dingra, who studied at Le Cordon Bleu. We have Ranveer Brar, we have Chef Vikas Khanna. They've all done short programs with us. So, some of the best chefs currently in India and across the world are students of Le Cordon Bleu. That's the alumni that we have, and that could also potentially be one of your students. Now, in the previous slide, you saw that we have a presence in about 20 countries. This is also really important because in this industry, mobility is quite high. Today, you may have a student who's sitting in India wanting to study, let's say in London, ends up getting a job in the Maldives, eventually moves to Africa. So they move around so much that when you have, firstly, a global network of schools, it means you have a global network of alumni that you can contact for any queries. That means you can reach out to different schools and professors for help. But also, what this means for students is that across the world, any trends that are coming up, we are allowed to teach our students, so that by the time they pass out of their studies, they're completely industry ready. The third point is, of course, the fact that we're offering something that's so unique. It's very, very specialized. What this means is that obviously the volumes that you will get for inquiries might not be so high, but anyone who is looking at being a chef or hospitality professional, chances are they've heard of a Le Cordon Bleu, and it would become that much easier for you to recruit them for Le Cordon Bleu. The last point is our student to teacher ratio. We only have 16, that's 1/6 students per intake. The reason for this is when you're looking at becoming a chef, the only way to do that is by working in the kitchen. Sitting in a classroom is not going to teach you that. And when students work in the kitchen, they're in a practical class. Our practical classes are designed to only have 16 workstations. So at any given point of time, there will not be more than 16 students in the practical classes. This is obviously very different from India, because when you look at IHMs, IIHMs, the practicals are usually done in teams of twos or threes, because they're dealing with students that are 300 or 400 in a class size. So it's going to be very, very different in terms of the education that students would experience. Quickly running through the facility, I think it's best if you'll look at the pictures. There's no better way for you to understand what the school would be like. So this is the actual image of our campus in France. So that is the school. And you can see it's actually very close to the Eiffel Tower, and it overlooks the Seine River. We have cuisine kitchens. Cuisine kitchen is where someone wants to be a chef that focuses on savory food. We have pastry kitchens for people who want to focus on desserts. Students usually begin their day with a demonstration. This is where the chef is showing all the students the recipe. We have huge mirrors and television screens across the class, classroom, so people can actually see what the chef is doing. We have polyvalent kitchens, which are obviously more modern. We teach students about wines. You have regular classrooms. We also have a rooftop garden. So, all of these are actual images. These two images are of our campus in London. This is the Le Cordon Bleu Cafe, and we also have a restaurant of our own. So, the idea is to immerse students in this industry. Moving on, what kind of students will potentially come to you? Anyone who wants to, let's say, work in the wine or beverage industry, someone who wants to be a chef, work on recipes, come up with a cookbook, for example. You have people who want to be in the F&B service. Pardon me. You'll also have people who want to just work in a hotel, right? So that would be more traditional sort of career paths, where you maybe want to work in the sales and marketing team of a hotel, or human resources. Maybe you want to work in the finance or the front office. You also have people who want to set up their own restaurants. Their family already has hotels across India, so they are focused on entrepreneurship. And the latest thing, of course, is focusing on nutrition, because a lot of people want to eat healthier food that's still pretty tasty, food that could be plant based, that could be vegan. So, anyone associated with any of these potential career paths is the right student for you if they're looking at studying at Le Cordon Bleu. Moving on, this is a quick video of the Paris campus.
Why Paris? Because Paris is always the center of gastronomy, and all the fine wines are coming from France.
Le Cordon Bleu Paris provides an exceptional learning environment in the heart of the city, overlooking the Seine. It offers all that is needed in terms of comfort and innovation in order to learn the professions of the future in the gastronomy, hospitality, tourism, and wine sectors.
The reason I chose Le Cordon Bleu is because just the prestige, the name in the United States, it holds so much weight. So it's the Harvard of pastry schools in the U.S.
Here, under the leadership of prestigious chefs and teachers, students develop their passion and take their first steps towards a successful and international career. Founded here in Paris in 1895, Le Cordon Bleu, the leading global network of culinary arts and hospitality management institutes, is renowned globally. Every year, more than 35 Le Cordon Bleu institutes train 20,000 students of over 100 different nationalities. These institutes provide training programs in the fields of gastronomy, wine, hospitality, and tourism, from initiation to MBA. Studying in a Le Cordon Bleu institute enables connections to be made on every continent. All Le Cordon Bleu courses are taught in French and/or in English for culinary arts and hospitality management diplomas.
Le Cordon Bleu offre 7 diplômes différents classés en 2 familles, les arts culinaires et le management hôtelier.
Also available at Le Cordon Bleu, in partnership with the University of Reims, is a university diploma in taste, gastronomy, and the art of fine dining.
Les élèves choisissent le Cordon Bleu pour sa grande réputation internationale et également pour avoir un sésame qui va leur ouvrir les portes du métier de la gourmandise.
Accredited in more than 10 countries, Le Cordon Bleu training programs are a passport to the world of gastronomic excellence. Thanks to a network spread around the four corners of the world, Le Cordon Bleu gives its students the possibility to have a successful career on every continent. Master Excellence, join Le Cordon Bleu.
All right. So as you must have heard, one of the, I think it's a professor, saying it's equivalent to the Harvard when it comes to culinary arts. So when you're guiding students for, let's say, the best MBA programs, maybe you'll talk about the Ivy League programs. Similarly, when it comes to food or hospitality, Le Cordon Bleu is considered as the Ivy League when it comes to culinary arts and hospitality. This was a quick glimpse of our Paris campus. The next video, which is my next slide before I hit next, is of the London campus. And then we will deep dive into the programs. Like I mentioned, 20 countries is a lot of information. We do not want to overwhelm you. Today, we're going to be focusing on Paris and London. And towards the end of the presentation, I'll be focusing on a bachelor's program offered at New Zealand. So we'll just have a quick look at the London campus now.
Here at the Cordon Bleu London, we offer a short course. We are offering also a professional diploma, bachelor degrees in culinary arts, management, and hospitality.
It's a happy place. Everybody here loves to cook.
We teach nutrition, DCM, which is our management program. We also teach the boulangerie program on the 3 levels.
Over the years, it's always built up different way that we teach, and it always been demonstration following by a practical.
I love that I'm challenged every day and that I'm constantly learning new things.
When they go into the industry as an intern, what they benefit is to kind of replicate those learning in a commercial environment.
I think when you walk around and you see the facilities we have here, everything's updating all the time. We're moving with the times.
London, for me, has, I think, one of the most diverse food scenes in the world. So if you're into food, London's a place to be.
The chefs who have been associated with Cordon Bleu, the alumni who have been associated with Cordon Bleu, they're quite iconic.
I couldn't have imagined doing what I do now without having studied at Cordon Bleu.
Everyone was there to get in the kitchen and cook. Everyone was there to learn something.
Anybody can come to the Cordon Bleu. As long as you have the passion and the dedication to really focus on your studies, you'll do well.
And that's why we said at the Cordon Bleu, give us a passion, we will teach you the rest.
All right, now moving on to the actual programs. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a different presentation because we're focusing a lot on what it's like to become a chef. We offer a lot of programs, but I'm talking to you only about the key programs today. As mentioned, if there are any doubts, if you want to figure out a combination that your student wants, please contact Study Metro and we'll be happy to guide them through the entire process. But for today's presentation, I will talk to you about the 3 main programs that you should consider. Now, these programs, mind you, are taught across all 20 countries, but the cost, the requirements might differ. Since London and Paris are probably the most popular campuses for us from the Indian subcontinent, I'm focusing on these 2 for today's presentation. Now, the first program is for someone who wants to be, like I said, a chef, but they want to work with savory dishes. That is known as a Diplôme de Cuisine Chef or the Cuisine Diploma. Now, this is a diploma level program that is taught across 9 months. However, anyone who is hard pressed for time, those could be people who already have a business of their own, they're not getting a leave, let's say they're working and they just want to upskill themselves, can do the exact same program in a 6-month intensive format. Now, what is this cuisine diploma? What we teach is French cuisine. And like I said, this is for someone who wants to be a savory chef. Now, this 9-month diploma consists of 3 levels that you see over here. We have the basic level for 3 months, intermediate level for 3 months, and the superior level for 3 months. Once you complete the basic level successfully, you move on to the intermediate, and then, of course, onto the superior. When you have completed all 3 levels successfully, that is when you get a cuisine diploma. Please keep in mind, like I'd mentioned earlier, that there's no way for you to learn cooking by sitting in a classroom. Now, when a program is 70% practical in nature, it has to be a diploma. It cannot be a degree, because we are not teaching management. We are teaching someone how to become a chef. So again, keep in mind, our programs are 70% practical. The way it works for students over here is their day begins with a demonstration. You had seen the picture earlier where the chef shows them how to make a recipe. They will then go into a kitchen, which again you have seen pictures of in the earlier slides, and they recreate the dish that they'd seen the chef make. That is exactly how they get graded and keep progressing from one level to the next. Like I'd mentioned, this is a standard 9-month program. Now, for someone who wants to do this in an intensive mode, basic and intermediate are actually taught in 3 months, so 1.5 months each. Superior still requires 3 months. That's how there's a difference of 3 months over here. When you do the program in standard mode, you would be on campus 3 to 4 days a week. When you do it in the intensive mode, you'd be on campus 5 to 6 days a week. You're still studying the same program. Please keep in mind, students will be studying French cuisine. I know this is extremely niche, extremely different. So like I've mentioned, and I'll reiterate, we're here to help. So if you need us to chat with your students through Study Metro, we're more than happy to do that. Quickly talking about the tuition fees. If you're looking at the course in Paris, it's 34,000 euros for the 9 or the 6-month program. This is the cost for the full tuition, which includes the uniform, the toolkit. The toolkit is something students get to take home with them. All of the ingredients that they're working with, and they're working with some of the finest ingredients. All of the course manuals, so everything related to their studies is included. Our programs are non-residential in all of the countries, which means there's no housing. So that is an additional cost. Students would have to find the housing themselves. If you're looking at the program in London, it's £25,000 for the standard program. For intensive, it's slightly higher, 25,410. We have 4 intakes a year for both Paris and London, which is Jan, April, July, and October. So plenty of opportunities for you all to recruit students who are interested. The ideal timeline is to start the application process at least 8 to 9 months in advance. We have strict deadlines for all of these campuses, but there are multiple stages. To not again overwhelm all of you with too much information, I've not included those deadlines because they are varying deadlines at each stage. Then the eligibility is 18 years of age, 60% in the 12th standard, and graduation, if someone has completed, they can proceed. As you would have seen, courses in Paris are taught in French with a translation to English, whereas in London, IELTS UKVI is mandatory. Once you understand cuisine, you will also understand pastry. It follows the exact same model. The difference is you will be studying pastry instead of cuisine. The tuition fees is 30,000 euros for Paris, 22,000 if you're looking at London, but it follows the same format. The only difference is you're studying pastry. Eligibility and intakes stay exactly the same. Finally, we have one last program that I want you to know, which is the Grand Diplôme. That is for people who want to study both cuisine and pastry. It's still a 9-month program, but here they will be studying both savory kitchen and pastry. So it is fairly intensive, and you would be on campus 5 to 6 days. Intakes and eligibility stay exactly the same. The tuition fees is mentioned over here. I am running short on time, so I will just quickly, I'll skip the video, but I'll touch base on one important program for New Zealand, and then I'll wrap up my presentation. This is a bachelor's program that's taught in New Zealand, which is known as the Bachelor of Culinary Arts and Business. We have a campus in Wellington. This is the only bachelor's program I'm talking to you about because it's relevant for people who want to be a chef, but also still manage to get a degree. There's also a 3-year post-study work visa with this. It includes an internship, and it's still practical. but teaches you components about the degree aspect. All of the information is mentioned here. I will wrap my presentation up because I believe we're running short of time. Yes, I can hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please tell me.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about to say like that we are running out of time. So
Yes, I've already wrapped it up for me.
okay, done. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions, or you want me to drop out?
I think nobody has put any question in the chatter, so we are moving forward for the next presentation now.
Sure. All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.